The Track of Life, Part 1. Sit quietly. Close your eyes and focus on your breathing. In, out, in, out. Focusing on your breath. Gradually breathe more slowly. Focus. Relax. Focus on the moment where you change between breathing in and breathing out. You are at peace. Imagine that you're out in the countryside. Around you, fields and woodlands stretch off into the distance. The blue sky is dotted with fluffy clouds in all manner of shapes. You are standing at the start of a long, straight track which heads off into the distance. This track represents the potential, the scope of possibilities which are available to you. It is the track of life. Notice that there are boundaries to this track. On either side, we have natural barriers, such as hedges of hawthorn, beech or briar. Other sections of the boundaries are man-made fences, some with barbed wire on top, to make them even harder to cross. There may even be some areas of brick or stone walls, giving a more solid barrier. Periodically, on either side, there are clumps of stinging nettles leaning out into the track, ready to sting you if your attention wavers. Keep looking out for these nettles. These barriers are there to keep you progressing within known guidelines. However, notice that there are sometimes stiles or even gates built into the fence lines to make it easier to cross. And if you look carefully at the hedgerows, you'll see gaps that you can push through, if you felt like seeing what extra options might be open to you. This is a time for change, perhaps. Be aware of the extra options around. The choice is yours, knowing that you can always find another way to get back into the track again, if plans and ambitions really don't work out. The man-made fences represent the constraints and parameters under which we exist, the rules and regulations, restrictions and laws, the social and financial restrictions which influence our lives, necessary to some extent, but perhaps negotiable. The hedges represent the more natural criteria which colour our personal lives, personal beliefs and standards, peer pressures, the ways we've been brought up. All these are certainly guidelines there to assist us, but they may occasionally be inhibitors, discouraging us from using our own imagination and initiative. Think about that for a moment. We always have some degree of freedom of choice, regardless of the constraints and parameters around. Have confidence in your own judgments. Take a moment to think through some of your own priorities and intentions. How important are they to you? Think outside the box. There may be fresh options open to you, but be objective. Remember these clumps of nettles. Many grow around the stiles and gates or the gaps through hedges. They're there to discourage the adventurous, but you can push carefully past them if you really want to. Try to keep clear of the more visible ones on the track itself, but always remember, being stung might be painful, but may be worth it to reach a better place. Think about that for a moment. Now, I'd like you to focus your gaze on the track itself. If you look closely, you may be able to visualize regular milestones stretching off into the distance. These are the potential goals that are available to you, your personal goals possibly. You may well wish to choose or formulate some of these goals, or alternatives, to build your own path forward along this track of life. This will be your own sequence of steps into the future. It's your own individual development path. Some goals or objectives will need to be achieved before progressing further in a logical sequence of development. Some others may be achieved in any sequence when the opportunity arises or when the time or situation is right. Remember, other people may be following a similar path, so sometimes you will need to wait for that time to be right. But chances will come for sure. Be patient. Everything is intended. So even pauses or blockages may well be there to give you time to think through your plans and strategies and consolidate your thinking. Giving time to think what you really want to do. Is self-employment the way forward, for example? It may be an exciting possibility, or maybe you work better with the resources of a bigger business around you. Give some thought, objectively, to the different alternatives. Consider each option mindfully as a now moment, with your pace of life reduced and your thoughts rationalized, all done slowly and deeply. The renewed answer will present itself. Also remember, your individual path between the chosen milestones will not be a straight line. Oh no. Another consideration, your path is not a solitary one. There are many others progressing down this same track of life. Sometimes your paths will cross. Sometimes they will run parallel, and you may manage to help each other to progress. At other times, there may be backlogs of people waiting to achieve the same thing, where the resources are limited. That's all very natural. Keep your focus on the way forward and consider or even review your possibilities. There are many or at least several, ways to achieve a goal. You are in control of these options, if you choose to be. Have faith in yourself. You can do it. We'll pause here for some reflection time before we progress onto the separate Part 2 visualization. Meditate quietly for a moment or two on any awareness about yourself which has surfaced, and perhaps even some glimmers of awareness about your future goals and the priorities you may have to progress along your personal track of life. The visualization will pause very soon. When you're ready, gradually bring yourself back to an awareness of your breathing and your surroundings. You may wish to make some notes about your thoughts and ideas at this stage of your journey along the track, to begin to realize some of your own milestones. Make some notes. We will meet again soon in Part 2 of the Track of Life visualization. Thank you.